Hey everybody, so hope you're doing good. I thought it might be a nice time to do a video and actually explain a bit more about who I am and what this channel is about. So some of this was stirred up with the video I put out about sharpening and just using a Northern India stone. Certainly maybe if you're beginning and maybe if you're struggling with sharpening a bit just to get the feel of things. And within the comments section of that there was a few things that were flushed out. Now this channel specifically, what am I trying to do with it? Well, primarily it's just sharing what I'm doing in a small garage workspace. It's about half the size of a small single garage, and that's great. I like it here, it's good. It's a nice little refuge to do some different projects, which is really good fun. I like also sharing any little bits of information that I've got, any bits of experience or little skills that I've got along the way that other people might find useful. In the future, I'd like to share more in-depth projects, something that people might want to get their teeth into a little more. But yeah, primarily that's what it is for the moment. It's there's nothing revolutionary here. It is woodworking after all. And one of the things that came up as well was kind of what are my credentials particularly. Now, straight off the bat, I'm not a formally trained furniture maker. I haven't completed an apprenticeship in furniture making. I haven't done one of the courses that are available at some of the woodworking schools in the UK, US or anywhere. I haven't done any of those things. What I have done is I have been a woodworker since leaving school. I was 16, joined the family business, and what we do primarily is carpentry and joinery. And in the UK, carpentry and joinery, the carpentry side I don't really do. I never really got into that particularly. It was more the joinery, so that would be things like primarily windows, doors and stairs. That would be primarily, that's it. But also you would do some kitchens, fitted furniture and a little bit of freestanding furniture as well. Certainly within that you wouldn't be regularly making what you would call fine studio furniture. I wouldn't be making any reproduction furniture, nothing of that nature. Sometimes repair some antique furniture, things of that nature, but no, I mean, mainly making things from wood. I served an apprenticeship for 3 years, which was standard at the time. When my great-granddad did his, I think it was 7 years. It was amazing how that's compressed over time. I won a couple of little gongs during that period. But to be fair, those awards were nice, but it wasn't anything that great. I mean, it was a group of us, and there was probably me and one other who were quite dedicated to what we were doing, and it was basically just me or him that won it. And I think most years there were 2 awards and we would just have them between ourselves. But it just showed that I was keen. You want to learn, and certainly with joinery you're making joints out of solid wood. Within that we were doing dovetails, mortise and tenons, forming rebates, bevels, chamfers, grooving, and you'd be expected to do those things by hand. Primarily you'd be working just in softwood when at college, and then at work you'd be working alongside the guys, trying to pick up what you could, getting experience when the opportunity arose. And yeah, over time I kind of got an opportunity at work, and I suppose if it's a family business it would be easy for people to think, well, you were always going to get an opportunity, but life is life. An opportunity comes, you're going to take it or you're not. And one of the guys left who mainly did the joinery in the workshop. I can't remember, I was either still just an apprentice or had just left. I've just finished my apprenticeship, and I was given the opportunity to well, you like doing joinery, you're into it, get on and do it, and because prior to doing the apprenticeship I liked reading about the topic, and within a lot of the old books you'd get kind of drawings and you could visualize how things would work. And because I'm probably, like some people watching this, maybe naturally practical and a problem solver, I could get it all to work. I was familiar enough with the machines. I had enough hand skills that when the machines weren't appropriate, you put those hand skills into place, and that was fine. In a second, I'll dust off some of my old school portfolio, which is very lacking, but we can take a look at it. And that's what I've been doing now. I mean, I'm in my 40s now, so I'm approaching kind of 3 decades doing this, and one thing I've learned is the longer you do it, the more you understand that you'll never get it all. You're never going to understand every single aspect. Now, I could not put out any content for people to view, and the fact that there's just a few people tuning in and enjoying it, that's fine. In a weird way, this feels for me like some kind of social stuff for me, which is good because I don't know many people that are interested in this. I know my friends certainly aren't. But it's nice. I can communicate with people, and it's good. Even when I've had some critical comments, it's really good because that tends to burrow down a bit and makes me reflect. That's absolutely fine. So yeah, but I've often learned that the more you kind of learn about woodworking, the more you realise you're never going to get it all, and time waits for nobody. It's going to wait. It's not going to wait for you. So if you want to do it, just get stuck in. It doesn't mean that maybe one day you might make a piece of furniture to an 18th century Chippendale standard, or you might make high-end studio furniture at home. You might get there, but everybody's going to have to start somewhere, and I'm not starting from anything. I know where I am and what I'm doing. The pieces I'm motivated to make at the minute are things that will be suitable for my own home. They're probably going to be gifts for other people. They're going to be things that primarily interest me, and the kind of woodworking that interests me is kind of what you would classify vernacular, country furniture, a little bit of arts and crafts feel, something like that, something that looks comfortable in most homes. And that's really easy for me to relate to because as a joiner I'm working with solid woods and joining solid wood together, edge gluing panels, mortars and tenons, housing joints, the odd dovetail. It's all common ground, and understanding how cabinet carcasses go together, it's not particularly difficult. What I don't have experience with is doing complex veneering, for instance. I've got no experience. If I was having to do that, I'd have to learn it from scratch. Things like cabriole legs, particular carving, things of that nature. But I'm not going to, if you come here for that, I don't have anything to show you yet, and I'm probably not going to have anything for some time. But anyway, enough of that waffle. Let me just dust off some of that little portfolio and we'll have a look at some of my old school stuff. I'll keep this brief for you. So this is in our old workshop. This is me during my probably apprentice days. A skinny little waif of a boy who didn't know how to dress properly. But that was in our old workshop that we had from the early 1930s onwards. That was a kitchen island I made. I remember nobody showed me how to do that. I just had to figure it out. Yeah, it's not necessarily difficult, but yeah, it was a bit of a step up from making just a window and a door and that kind of thing. Again, that was just some basic stuff. And a lot of the reasons I took these photos was for just proof for my evidence when I did my apprenticeship. Sash windows, angled frames. And again, you can appreciate some of the work shown here. It's not fine cabinetry, and I'm not pretending that that's what I have to offer. Again, it's just windows, doors, evidence that I'm actually doing something. Cottage windows made to suit the original heritage style. Shows you how the innards of a sash window work with the weights and the pulleys. You can see what an interesting old shack we used to work from. And yeah, it was good. Had an enjoyable time there. It was a lovely experience, and I'm still working in the same family business as when I joined. I'm the 4th generation, and it's been a privilege doing it. And then through here again, just other such things, big doors, panel doors. Again, these are dreadful quality photos, but we are going back to the 90s. I didn't have a smartphone then. Flight of stairs, all basic stuff. And I think there's a few more bits, not too much. Yeah, a few bits and pieces there. And I'll grab the other one for you. This is when, again, pre-internet stuff. So this was a roof light, circular roof light. I can remember making that one. All the outsides covered with lead. It's all glazed up on a flat roof. From memory, I didn't make this one. This is one of the other guys did that, but it was good to show clients when they came in. Same here. I think I made the front door or the doors that went onto the front of that larder unit, but I can't be sure. Don't want to take claim for that. I made these entrance doors. These have got the diminished styles, so you've got a higher glazed area in the front, the paneling around that entrance door. This is my dad building these elliptical stairs. Again, I can remember I didn't have a great deal to do with that. I know it was a very taxing job because we aren't geometric stair builders by trade. Bit of paneling I made up there. This is a lay light. My dad made that one. And again, we didn't do much of this kind of stuff, but it ages this so much. But it's that's what in-car entertainment within limousines looked like back in the day. When I was a young kid, I can remember going to help install some of that and do some of the touch-up. I think criminals had got in and ripped out some of the original audio-visual stuff, and we obviously had to remake and replace it. Some reproduction antiques that my dad made. A window down here which taught me a lesson because somebody told me I'd got it wrong and I was insistent that I hadn't, and then was found out that I was wrong. That was the remake. That's me again, just very young, helping out on an install. And again, bits of furniture that Dad would have made. These are some doors for a church that I made, little Gothic headed doors. Again, all this stuff is, back in the day, I don't know, we weren't in the habit of taking photos quite so much. I remember this was another kind of apprentice job that I was given. I remember my dad had gone on holiday and there was all these curved glazing bars that needed joining into the top of a window. So I was given the job of, well, look, when I get back, I expect it done. Take your time and do the best you can. And luckily, it all kind of came out, which was good. What else have we got there? Yeah, me helping out on a kitchen install. Again, probably I would say for a lot of kind of joinery workshops, kitchen work is as close as you get to cabinetry, because there aren't as many customers who can have studio furniture made from. A serving kiosk we made for a restaurant, conservatory that I made. Again, lantern light, just more of that kitchen island that I did. Again, this was bookcase that Dad did. This was a nice one. I can remember this was done when I first started work. This was a library fit out. You can see we've got the book match panels there and the astragal glazing bars on the doors. That was, again, we worked in conjunction with one of our employees there. I thought that one came out pretty nice. Again, I can't claim responsibility for that at all. I was a little kiddie. Door, that one came off of my hands. I'm disappointed in a way that I haven't got more pictures of this room, because it was a large fit out in this room, and I was probably about 22 years old when I did this, I think. And my word, I can remember first day I had to do this install. This is one of the first kind of prestige clients, if you want to call them that. And you're just hoping you've done everything you should to make the whole thing work. You've been through the design that's been submitted for you to make. You've ordered everything. You're going along with it all, and you're thinking, my word, I hope all of this is right. You've got to deliver it with confidence, and it all worked out. It's one that I look back with a great deal of satisfaction. It was good to get that done. Again, just some simple internal doors, a few other bits and pieces, stairs. Again, this was a fit out I did. Since got ripped out and moved around, and yeah, it was probably one of the last things I put in there, which was again, this was all architect design, but all how this framework was put together. So you can see there's not lots of cabinet making, and I'm not claiming to be a cabinet maker. Obviously, making furniture at home I really enjoy doing that because I don't have the pressure of dealing with clients. But yeah, I hope that helps, and we'll just take a look at a couple of other things. In the description to our family business's website, you can take a look at a lot more of the up-to-date things on there, and it is what it is. Some things we don't show on there because obviously not all clients are going to want their work shown. And one of the reasons you'll see in a lot of the other videos, I do a link to my personal blog for woodworking. The reason I don't like using the company's one is because that's very much a team effort, and I'm not sure it really represents what somebody can do at home under their own steam. That's why I do the personal website and slowly building my portfolio on that, so it can be like, well, hey, these are some of the things I like to make at home, these are the techniques I use, maybe that interests you, maybe it doesn't. And yeah, I also had the opportunity some years ago to write a bit for Popular Woodworking. I'll put a link to that. To be fair, the fact that any of it might seem coherent and interesting was mainly down to the good quality editing of Megan Fitzpatrick. She was excellent to deal with and incredibly fair individual. I've got a great deal of respect for how she conducts herself. Very impressive person to deal with. So yeah, she made sure that worked out. Sadly, I had to stop due to a personal health crisis. That health crisis went on for about 2 or 3 years, and now I'm fully recovered from that. I really wanted to get back to doing what I was doing before, which was sharing a lot of what I was doing, and I do enjoy doing that. I'm not here to, as some have said, poke at other woodworkers. Some people are kind enough in the comments to say, oh, that reminds me of so-and-so's approach. And what I'm careful to do is I don't want to mention other people specifically, not out of me being disrespectful to them, but because sometimes I might have a different take on how to do something, and I don't want to appear disrespectful to them and their efforts, because everybody's got a slightly different approach, you know, and that's fine. And these people are working on and doing their things, are working hard, they all seem decent people to me. But I don't want to say I'm a copycat to them. You know, I've been doing this for nearly 3 decades. I come from a family that does this. I've been around it my whole life. I knew all about it before the internet. That doesn't mean I'm the best woodworker, but also it means that I'm not necessarily a fanboy of various other internet celebrities, if you want to call them that. I guess I'm paddling my own canoe, so to speak, with that kind of thing. So yeah, just it is what it is. You know, if you don't like it, that's okay. I think I've got to the point where I did a video a while ago where it was like, will I keep doing it? I think for the foreseeable I will. It's been nice to get to know some of you with the comments and whatnot. I've had a incredible response from Peter a while ago. We did a video where he let me have some beautiful tools. You know, it's blown my mind completely. But yeah, I can't thank you all enough, and that's me. I'm called Graham Hayden. I don't make it a big thing about me and my name and this is the Graham Hayden method and all the rest of it. That doesn't sit comfortably with me. Most of what I do is stuff that I've either learned from people with more experience, either face to face or reading about their experiences, and also looking at historical sources, and never dismiss historical sources, because if you're working at home with just a lot of hand tools, those people knew more than you did, they know more than I did, and I don't see anybody on YouTube today, which is, you know, a tiny fragment of the woodworking world, who presents a skill set that comes close to a lot of those people. I'm not being mean to anybody. I don't feel I'm at the level of those historical greats, and nor should anybody on YouTube feel that they have to be. You know, that's not the point of it. We should all be just hopefully having a bit of fun. But yeah, before I ramble too much, hopefully that's illustrated a bit about who I am, what I can offer, what I am, what I'm not, and then you can decide whether this is for you or whether it's not. I'm happy either way. All right, see you soon.